Hello and welcome back to another video. Now for those of you that are new here, my name's Mel and I'm currently turning this Mercedes Vario into a luxurious camper van. And today I'm going to be installing this diesel cooktop. And for those of you that aren't familiar with these diesel cooktops, they work pretty much like a diesel heater. On the underside you'll see there is a fan and a burn chamber. They even have that horrible noisy pulsating pump, just like the diesel heaters have. Basically, a flame hits the underside of this ceramic top and the heat from that flame is transferred to whatever pot or cooking utensils you have sitting on top of here. And because they're just like a diesel heater, they should be quite simple to install. Now this isn't the popular branded diesel cooktop, this is in fact a cheap Chinese knockoff, and for that reason I've been testing it over the last 6 months on a test bench in the workshop, and I've made various videos about this on my channel. So now that I've given it a thorough good testing, I'm confident enough to actually install it in my camper van. As you can see, I've already cut a hole out in my work surface. So there you go, cooktop's now installed. If only it was that simple. Now just like Chinese diesel heaters, these do have an exhaust, and they are supposed to be exhausted out through the floor of the van, but I'm not going to do that because I've got so much going on underneath my van. I've got a huge fuel tank, a huge waste tank, and there simply isn't any room to run a pipe down through the floor. So because these diesel heaters were originally designed for boats, that's exactly how I'm going to vent this. I'm going to use a boat vent rather than the original diesel silencer. I'm going to use this vent that goes out through the side of the van, a bit like a Webesto heater, I guess. They're vented out the side, so I figured why can't I vent the diesel cooktop out the side of my van, just like they do the Webesto diesel water heaters. So I think this would be a good place to start. Now I know what some of you are thinking, how comes I'm fitting a diesel vent directly underneath my window? Isn't that a little bit dicey, a little bit dodgy? After all, there's a risk of fumes going inside the living space. Well, regulations say that if you do fit a diesel vent below a window, like you would a Truma water heater for instance, to fit a proximity switch to said window. So if ever this window is open, this switch will cut the power to my diesel cooktop, preventing any risk of diesel fumes entering my living space. Quite simple really.
Bottom, top, your right.
Hang on, I've got it. Got it, go.
Like a pro.
So there you go, that's my diesel cooktop pretty much installed. Now this cupboard is going to get a little bit warm because it has got an exhaust pipe going through it. So this cupboard will only ever be used for pots and pans and saucepans and so on and so forth. Maybe I'll put the cutlery drawer below here as well. So all I've got to do now is add the air filter, add some power, switch it on, make sure it still works. Well, I'm pleased to say it seems like it's working. The pump is pumping, the fan is blowing, and the kettle is definitely getting warm. But the big question is, how much smoke is there coming out the side of my van? After all, we don't want to be smoking out the neighbours, do we? And the exhaust comes out the side of the van. I don't really want loads of smoke gushing out the side of the van. I'll tell you what, that's considerably quieter than I expected it to be. Let me hold the camera up to it and you can hear it for yourselves. Unlike a diesel heater, it is really quiet and you can hardly hear the pump because it doesn't use as much fuel as a diesel heater does. Obviously it smells a bit whiffy. But yeah, you wouldn't know that was going. I guess in the dead of winter you'll probably get condensation coming out of here, but that's probably the only giveaway. And remember, this is the road side as well, so I'm not venting the cooker out onto the curb side. So if I'm parked up in a lay-by or anywhere like that, people aren't going to see plumes of smoke coming out the side of my van. Hopefully, anyway. Oh, it's just turned itself off. Something just went click and it went quiet. Maybe all is not well in the kitchen. Let's have a look inside. Unless there's an airlock, of course, in the fuel line, which is probably likely. Is it still going? Let's have a look at what the battery's drawing. Battery says 0. That's not good, is it? Controller's got the lights on. Well, let's give it a minute and I'll fire it up again. Might be there's air in the fuel line still. I hope it's alright, because after all, I've been using this cooktop all winter long. Now that I've installed it in the van, it better bleeding work. Yeah, it's definitely stopped working. Let it cycle through, let it shut itself down, then we'll switch it on again, see what happens. I'll be right back. Well, that's a little bit odd. No sooner did I turn my camera off, the pump started clicking again, and it's now drawing 6.4, 6.5 amps. So, yeah, I wonder what happened there. That's definitely clicking again. God, yeah, it's definitely hot. That is definitely hot. Let's go back outside, see if we've got any smoke. How bizarre. Don't know what happened there. Maybe there was an airlock and it's just primed itself. Let's hope so anyway. Let's hope that is the case. Yeah, it's blowing hot air again. A bit like me really, blows hot air now and again. You can hear the pump clicking. Oh, it's making some weird noises now. I do hope it's alright. I think what I'm going to have to do is just let it run, let it do its thing, and hopefully it'll sort itself out. Maybe it'll be alright. It's gone quiet, it's still blowing hot air. It's not smelling anymore, but I can definitely feel hot air blowing out of that. The pump is going. Let's check the kettle, see if the kettle's boiling. I'd mind you, if it was boiling, we'd be able to hear it. It does get warm under there. I'll definitely need that little fan up there, look. I'm impressed with this heat stuff. I can actually touch the exhaust. Right, I'm going to leave it now. I'm going to let it run, see how it goes. I'll get back to you and let you know how it all pans out. I'll be right back. Well, I'm pleased to say it's stopped making a weird noise, and it sounds like my kettle is just about to boil. Pretty much a full kettle, which I wouldn't normally do. Usually I wouldn't fill a kettle up. I would only put enough water in the kettle that I need. Here we go, it's starting to whistle. This could be a magical moment, the first time the kettle has ever whistled inside this van. I'm so pleased I get to share this moment with you. Well, there you go. You can actually see what this is going to end up looking like now. Now, I've not glued this in place because I do want to do a little bit of finessing before I actually fix this in place permanently. But before we end this video, there's one other thing I need to do outside the van.